Our entire 25 years has been virtual. Our focus much more about global growth. So we're looking for a global talent pool, as an example. If we find a patch of interesting data scientists in Lisbon, then we're going to look in Lisbon to find those resources. If we want to do labor arbitrage to look at our general expenses over talent over a period of time and over a period of geography, then we have that ability. We can shift workload across a variety of time zones, and we can do global onboarding, or we can do a virtual implementation of what we refer to as Borg training, right? We're assimilating you into the organization. And the only way we make that successful is with a single implementation of workspace, right? Where we can do collaboration and creativity all in the same area, where email through creating documents, through Google Meet is all part and parcel in the same process. We do have, a variety of other tools, but for the most part, we all can engage in the exact same way with the exact same tooling. It's the only way it's been effective in the couple of decades we've been here.
I think the three areas that in our company is more important, which we see it as, a hybrid environment will allow to have collaborative naturally and easily if you have it within the both. The second one is being very happy and healthy with the work-life balance. I think that's very important for everyone. And I think the third one that is really becoming more and more interesting because of pandemic is being focused as well as saving time. Now, what I mean by that is, we recognize essentially a hybrid model is that some people are early risers and they like to work, front the desk and all those things. And there are some people who are night owls and essentially they would like to, be at home and working late and come to that terms. So as leaders for the company, I think we basically are giving that opportunity to our organization to decide for people for their mental health, if that's what it's important in the context of what they feel work-life balance within the enterprise. And then the other part of it that we've been trying to offer is allowing team to come up with their suggestion in the context of what the best work-life balance or what type of hybrid work environment would look like in the future for them. So we've been very open to that. And also we recognize that because of pandemic, we actually recognize there's tons of talents that it's global and we can tap into that global environment. So those are the positives of it.
Sustainability aware culture starts at the top. It has to start at the top. And then it must touch every aspect of the business, including the product, all the way down to delivery to customers. You can't just give it lip service, but not take action on it, even internally. Neil, the Geotab CEO, in addition to the leadership team at Geotab, demonstrate their commitment to sustainability by driving initiatives both internally for staff and also externally in terms of product development that goes to customers, reimbursements to staff for purchasing an electric vehicle, for example, having dashboards internally that track the company's carbon footprint, making recycling programs available for people to bring in their old electronics from home. All of these internal initiatives show that there's commitment from the top. But it shouldn't stop there. And the other thing that Geotab does is make sure that they bring that to the product development. So being in the fleet technology business, one of the things that Geotab has built directly into the product offering is the ability for fleets to actually look at the carbon footprint of their fleets, to look at the idle times, for example, things that we track using the Geotab telematics devices. And offering solutions directly to the end customers in terms of how they can optimize their fleets to be more respectful to the environment. So I'd say it has to start at the top, and it has to trickle all the way through to internal initiatives as well as down to the product and to the customer delivery.
Sustainability of our products is core to the mission at Canada Goose, and we do have a published sustainability report that is available to the public to document and make us accountable for the goals that we've put down there. Technology has a huge role in supporting this work. We currently have initiatives where we are tracking everything from raw materials all the way through to finished goods. And then now looking to see how we might actually track the products once they're in consumer hands beyond the outside of our own organization to be able to get that full life cycle view of the product all the way back through whether it's resale or recycling at the end. So all of that is really a function of being able to leverage things like our ERP capabilities and our data lake. It's really a great application for all of that BI work that's been going on from all organizations to be able to see that cross-functional view of data and be able to assemble it into something that makes some sense. This type of initiative is actually a great one for technology teams because it's really an all business approach. I agree with Philip. These teams include our retail side, our supply chain, our finance, our operations, our product teams, all working with our technology teams to be able to get to these solutions. So it's definitely an area that we are certainly focusing on, and it's a great space for us to actually try out the technology solutions that we actually have in place already.
We've long espoused and embraced stakeholder capitalism, which means stakeholders as not only shareholders, customers, employees, partners, but also the planet, society, communities as a whole. And if we want to talk about the importance that sustainability has on the business world today, you can look no farther than the news today. ExxonMobil had activist investors take over 2 of their 4 board seats because they weren't doing enough around reducing carbon emissions. In Europe, Shell was levied a very large fine because they weren't doing cuts fast enough. So at Salesforce, there's a few things that we're doing. Some you'd expect, some you might not know about. The first thing that we're doing is we have a carbon neutral cloud, right? So for all of our operations that our customers run, it's carbon neutral. We're also working towards 100% renewable energy for all of our operations. One thing we've had since our beginning is the 1-1-1 model, where we allocate 1% of employee time, 1% of product, and 1% of profits to nonprofits. And to date, that's been over 6 million hours, almost $450 million of grants to 50,000 nonprofits. But what this means is all of our employees in our corporate giving are focused on things like our communities, like our planet. So really embedding that in our culture. And on our first day back when we onboarded in person, there was always a volunteering event just to say this is part of our DNA. Finally, and I think this thing's really cool, it was in the last month, we've launched something on all of our now supplier contracts, which we're calling a sustainability exhibit, where every supplier, in order to continue to do business with Salesforce, needs to make demonstrable commitments to how they are reducing their emissions and how they are giving back. So again, it's a new requirement we just rolled out for all of the people who supply Salesforce. But our hope isn't just to deal with, the 10 suppliers that we have or thousands of suppliers, but to use an exhibit like that for other companies to model after, make their own. But imagine if we all can start multiplying our impact and our commitments through our entire supply chains and on our suppliers. That's going to have a profound impact. And then the last thing, about a year ago, we launched a cloud called Sustainability Cloud, which helps companies track their carbon footprint and deal with the accounting related to it. So in all pure Salesforce fashion, how do you track, collaborate, analyze, and communicate on that data? And the whole point of it is, and I think Philip and Catherine said this really well, it's not one thing, it's 100 things. It starts at the top, right at the board and the activist investors, and has to permeate from everything from culture to employees to supply chain to product development, because this impacts us all, something we feel strongly about, and I love seeing the alignment here.
We all know that the world has changed by the pandemic. It has changed from having digital to a digital first world. What hasn't changed is our customer first mindset, the approach that we've taken to build our trusted relationship with our customer. That hasn't changed. to leverage all the interaction points with our customer, whether if it's online, offline, web, mobile, voice, in-store, call center, pavilions, email, text. We follow the 3 steps. Number 1 is to know our customer, who they are. Number 2 is to engage our customer, creating that interactions virtually, in person with our customers, and then continue to leverage our learning and optimization via the personalization to drive the long-term relationship with our customers. There are many channels that we can interact with our customers. We have like app reviews, customer surveys, customer panels, call centers, and our customer COE who does our the research with our customers. There's also technology ways of automating, understanding the customer behavior via their transactional and untransactional behavior to continue to drive the deep engagement with our customer. So we all know that customer is our biggest asset. As we re-architecture our digital ecosystem, that it requires innovative technology and talented people to activate that technology and new processes to scale that impact.